Peace, everyone. Welcome to the Moroccan Post Law, Government, and History class. Today's presentation, part two of the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations, uh, Consular Notification, Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations, Moorish Treaty, uh, Consular Notification Part Two, Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations, Consular Notification Part Two. So we'll finish up with Consular Notification Part Two. Um, on this past Sunday, we had, because of technical difficulties, we will do the presentation. The title of Sunday's presentation: Moroccan Post on Plum TV, Moorish Treaty Enforcement through Diplomatic Channels, the United States Central Authority. We will do that, and we had technical difficulty this past Sunday. So tune in, Moroccan Post on Crumb TV, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your Shem Malachi Bey will be the speaker. Moorish Treaty Enforcement through Diplomatic Channels, the United States Central Authority. All right. Another announcement. Terrence, Shem, and I were part of a Zoom conference on Monday. There were 40 brothers that were on, and this was Brother Hassan was the host. We connected with Brother Hassan. In fact, Herm, our landlord, he connected me with Brother Hassan about 3 months ago. And so Shem Terrence and I had a phone meeting with Hassan about 6-7 weeks ago. And he then told us that he would be putting together this Zoom conference, which took place on Monday. So I have about 20 numbers and emails. I sent the day's Zoom to 10 brothers whose numbers were put in the chat, and I'll send it to. I have about 10 other emails. So that's another announcement. Good news, 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 7 times. All right. So this class will be expanded. The flyer that Quasi did, it's only going to be good for next month. I'm going to tell you why, which is good news. The one that, Noel did the flyer, and Quasi added the Zoom link to the flyer. Noel EO did the flyer for us, and that flyer is only going to be good until next month. The reason why, as of Friday, I was on the phone for 5 to 6 hours with Dougie Fresh's brother, K Shaka, his wife, Hitman, and Shay's ill out in New York. And we will have Shem and I will be going to New York every month. There's only going to be one. There's only going to be the fourth Wednesday will be the Zoom class. The fourth Wednesday, it's only going to be one Zoom class per month. One Zoom class per month. That'll be the fourth Wednesday, which will be free. The second Wednesday will be paid, $20. $20. Shem and I will be live and direct in New York. We'll start off in Brooklyn. All right. And on December 14th, Wednesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The flyer is almost done. They're putting together the Eventbrite. They're hooking up the Eventbrite information. All right. So so the class will be expanded, but it'll be $20. And we're going to alternate between Brooklyn. Shem and I will be in Brooklyn. And on December 14th, we'll be in Harlem. And second Wednesday in January. We'll alternate between Harlem and Brooklyn. It'll be marketed all over. It'll be on, people all over the country and throughout the world can go to the Eventbrite and pay. So it's gonna be $20. So it'll be, once again, this will be, the schedule remains. The schedule remains second and fourth Wednesday. The second Wednesday will be paid. You have to go to the Eventbrite. We'll get that information to you. The flyer is almost, the flyer's done. You're just hooking up the Eventbrite information. So that's, so like I said, so second and fourth, so we will go to fourth, we'll have the fourth Wednesday of this month, and then second and fourth Wednesday of next month will be, I said, on this platform. The fourth Wednesday, every fourth Wednesday will be on this platform. Every second Wednesday will be on another platform. All right. So that is the good news, because we're going to be expanding to a broader audience. All right. So that was, we put that together on Friday. I was on the phone for 5 or 6 hours. All right. So that's good news. Another announcement. Oh, my books. Go to mooresandmasonry.org for Moors and Masonry Part 1, a Masonic Compass Square and the connection of timekeeping and measurement, Illuminati and illumination of the mind, how her Venus and moon rule, etymology and vocabulary, how etymology and vocabulary is something that you want. Coming your way soon, December. This would be a good Christmas gift, y'all. A Christmas gift or Kwanzaa gift, all right? Christmas gift or Kwanzaa gift for your friends or relatives, all right? Moors and Masonry Part 2. You go to mooresandmasonry.org to pre-order Moors and Masonry Part 2. Coming your way soon, December, all right? Yes, so I've been at it. Sister Akira, my layout designer, she has begun the layout. So we'll be getting it in, all right? So another announcement. Let me continue with this. The YouTube channel, Moroccan Post Media YouTube channel. Moroccan Post Media YouTube channel for all the recorded Zoom classes. Also, we have the Moorish Body Politic Formation course. There's 12 classes. Moorish Body Politic, 12 Moorish Body Politic Formation classes. Each class is 2 hours long. I think the first one is 3 hours long, Terrence. Because I saw class number 1 has over 150 views, Terrence, already. So I think that's 3 hours long, but the other ones are 2 hours long. And our presentation, PowerPoint presentation, and our question and answer, well structured, right? So you just go to Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. All these classes are uploaded. So this class will be uploaded tomorrow on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. All right, so next slide is that another announcement.
Nope, we're done.
After I put out Moors and Masonry Part 2, I'll be done that in December. We're gonna work on putting together the manual for this class, this Moorish treaty enforcement and consular relations manual. And that's going to be for it's going to either be 25 or 30 notes, and that should be available in March, between March and April. All right, so I'll try to get it March and April. So I won't even have a break. I'm going to have to manage my time of marketing Moors and Masonry Part 2, and then getting this manual done. All right. So coming your way soon. We're about structure.
Mm-hmm.
The title of December 14th's lecture is The End Game, Restoring the Moorish Body Politic. The End Game, Restoring the Moorish Body Politic. Now you say, well, how did that title come about? Well, a friend of mine that for 20 years is an airbrush artist. I talked to him this past December, And I've said, so he asked me, and I was explaining to him about the recovery of lost Moorish sovereignty. And he asked me, well, what is the end game? So I got that from him. So when I explained my discussion that I had with the brother in December to Shaka, Shaka said, well, let's use the end game as the main title. And then the subtitle is Restoring the Moorish Body Politic. So Shem and I will be in Brooklyn on Wednesday, December 14th. And we'll be back. We'll be in Harlem in January. We'll be in Brooklyn in February. We'll be Harlem in March. So we're going to be K Shaka, that's Dougie Fresh's brother, and his wife have a juice bar in Harlem. So I'm looking forward to that. Actually, we'll see what made him make that juice bar in December. I will be in Atlanta. All right. Brother Ponda, Minister of Information, will be hosting me in Red Pill. We talked that Taj won't be there, but Taj will be in Delaware broadcast. He will be broadcasting from Delaware. They'll have Taj on the screen. So maybe because of his age, so that's so that's the deal, is that Taj will not have to travel to Atlanta, but I will be traveling to Atlanta. All right, Red Pill. So take the Taj Sharif Bey, myself, Red Pill, and then we have another speaker lined up, and that's the December 10th in Atlanta. All right, so Quasi and Darian, I'll see y'all in Atlanta. All right, I'll see y'all in Atlanta, Quasi and Darian. All right, so there's a lot of good news. This class is expanding. I'm very, very excited about this. All right, so without further ado, my man, my brother, Shem Malachi Bey. Right, so Shem Malachi Bey, this is the Moorish Treaty Relations, Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations, Consular Notification, Part 2. All right, so we're going to, you have the first one up, Terrence? Let me go to my notes here.
It's going to be federal criminal persecution. Let me see here.
Yes, we started. Yeah, we started with that. I just wanted to give everybody the good news, man. I want to keep the good news to myself.
186.
Page, what page is that, Terrence?
186.
186?
Is that right?
All right, page 186. Can we have a reader with someone else other than Amanda? Who would like to read?
I would, if I.
My man.
I'm on my phone, so I could. It's kind of small. Where to start at?
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
That's good.
Right.
All right.
Where do I start?
Where would you like him to start?
Okay, I'll just start at the top. Of his right.
Yes.
Okay. Of his right to consular notification before he is booked, if the person arrested or otherwise detained has requested consular notification, the State Department has further opinion that within 24 hours and certainly 72 hours, notification must be provided. Nothing in the provision of Article 36 confer on a foreign national the right to speak with a consular representative before government agents commence an interrogation, nor to delay as interrogation if the foreign national requests that counsel be notified of the arrest. With respect to the right of consular officers to visit, correspond, and converse with a national who has been arrested, placed in custody, or is otherwise detained, Article 36, 1C provides, consular officers shall have the right to visit a national of the sending state who is in prison, custody, or detention, to converse and correspond with him and to arrange for his legal representation. They shall also have the right to visit any national of the sending state who is in prison, custody, or detention in their district in pursuance of a judgment. Nevertheless, consular officers shall refrain from taking action on behalf of a national who is in prison, custody, or detention if he expressly opposes such action. Finally, Article 36(2) provides that the rights set forth under the first paragraph shall be exercised in conformity with the laws and regulations of the receiving state, subject to proviso, however, that the said laws and regulations must enable full effect to be given to the purposes for which the rights accorded under this article are intended. While this subparagraph provides in part that the laws of the receiving state must allow for these rights to be given full effect, it has been suggested that the intention of this subparagraph seems to be to ensure that the domestic criminal procedures of the receiving state are interfered with to the least extent possible. 4.
This is hold on, S. Murray. This is the Article 36 of the Consular Relations and the Vienna Convention. Article 36 of the Consular Relations, the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. This is Article 36 of the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. All right, so Consular Relations, the Vienna Convention, Article 36. Go ahead, continue. Shem, you want to deliberate? Or you want him? Would you like for him to continue to read?
Shem's on mute.
Shem,
Yes.
do you want to say something, or would you like for him to
No,
continue to read?
let him continue reading, then I go in on it.
All right, go ahead, brother.
4. Department of Justice regulations and Department of State advice relating to the consular notification provision of the Vienna Convention. To ensure compliance with the consular notification provision of Article 36 of the Vienna Convention, the Department of Justice issued regulations to the same effect, specifically 28 CFR 50.5 states in relevant part. A. This statement is designed to establish a uniform procedure for consular notifications where nationals of foreign countries are arrested by officers of this department on charges of criminal violations. It conforms to practice under international law and in particular implements obligations undertaken by the United States pursuant to treaties with respect to the arrest and detention of foreign nationals. Some of the treaties obligate the United States to notify the consular official only upon the demand or request of the arrested foreign national. On the other hand, some of the treaties require notifying the consul of the arrest of a foreign national, whether or not the arrested person requests such notification. In every case in which a foreign national is arrested, the arresting officer shall inform the foreign national that his counsel will be advised of his arrest unless he does not wish such notification to be given. If the foreign national does not wish to have his counsel notified, the arresting officer shall also inform him that in the event there is a treaty in force between the United States and his country which requires such notification, his counsel must be notified regardless of his wishes, and if such is the case, he will be advised of such notification by the U.S. attorney. Number 2, in all cases, including those where the foreign national has stated that he does not wish his counsel to be notified, the local office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the local marshal's office, as the case may be, shall inform the nearest U.S. attorney of the arrest and of the arrested person's wishes regarding consular notification. The regulation further assigns the U.S. attorney the obligation to notify foreign counsel. The Department of State also has undertaken a number of initiatives to alert local and federal law enforcement officials about the council notification requirements under Article 36. These measures have included issuing periodic notices to local governments explaining the requirements, the issuance of a handbook, and the release of a bulletin outlining the provisions of the Vienna Convention. The most recent comprehensive publication by the Department of State regarding council notification was issued in 1998. This publication contains guidance and instructions relating to the detention, arrest, or death of, or the appointment of guardians for foreign nationals, as well as other issues concerning the provisions of consular services to foreign nationals in the United States. The publication notes that the obligations surrounding council notification and access are binding on the federal government by virtue of the Supremacy Clause. Five, application of Article 36 of the Vienna Convention to criminal proceedings. As noted previously, Article 36 imposes three separate but interrelated obligations on the host country relating to a detained foreign national. Number one, a detainee's right to contact counsel. Number two, a counsel's right to contact the detainee. And three, a detainee's right to be informed by the detaining authorities of the right to contact the counsel. In the last 25 years, the third of these obligations has been the subject of frequent litigation in the context of criminal prosecutions. The scenario is straightforward. A foreign national is arrested. He is advised of his rights under Miranda, but not of his right under the Vienna Convention to contact his consulate. The defendant waives his Miranda rights and provides a statement. A challenge then is made at trial to suppress the statement and or dismiss the indictment on the grounds that the government failed to advise the defendant of his right to counsel notification and access under Article 36. The district court denies such relief. A conviction ensues, and the defendant challenges the conviction on appeal on similar grounds. Before turning to analysis of the developing case law in the area, it is important to discuss generally certain legal principles governing treaties and their enforceability in federal courts by private individuals. A, the Supremacy Clause, treaties, and the self-execution doctrine. Article 6 of the United States Constitution provides, this Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state notwithstanding. Since treaties are the law of the land, courts must give them the same consideration as they do federal statutes. Indeed, under the Supremacy Clause, treaty-based rights are superior to state laws or policies and even trump earlier inconsistent federal legislation. But are such treaty-based rights privately enforceable by an individual? This turns on the doctrine of self-execution, described by one court as one of the most confounding questions in treaty law. It has been suggested that two distinct questions must be resolved. D, in determining whether a treaty is self-executing. One, whether the treaty requires implementing additional legislation before it can take effect. And two, whether the treaty confers private enforceable rights to individuals. As to the former, the evidence is compelling that the Vienna Convention requires no additional congressional implementing legislation. With respect to the latter, there is a disagreement among both commentators and the courts. In Bread versus
Brother, Murray, just for a minute. Shem?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to stop reading right now.
Okay, now we're dealing with well-established law principles. Which when you hear the court say they talk about common law, they talk about things that already been established before they became a organization operated by the
Hold on,
crown.
Shem. Shem, please hold on for a minute. Let's get into some light. Get into some light, please. Change your be. Yeah, you're in dark. I mean, your face is. We can't see your face. Can't see your face.
Let me get my. I was working on something over here. Go ahead.
I know, but we have to work on this.
Yeah, I know. Take me out what I was doing. Go ahead. I'm trying to finish this. Go ahead.
Some light. Let's get into some light.
Can you see me?
Your
Wow.
fingers in the way. Your fingers on the phone. Your fingers in the way. You good? All right.
Abdullah, before before or after Shem goes, I want to back up to where it says the misconception around where it says this Constitution and the laws of, let me see, and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. So I'd like you to go into the misconception of this article in the United States Constitution and why Moors think that this article makes treaties the supreme law of the land. I want you to go into that misconception.
Oh, well, yes.
Well,
the misconception that conscious Moors have been taught by other conscious Moors is that the only way to enforce the treaty is through Article 6. That Article 6 is the only way in which the treaty can be enforced. So that is a grave misconception. Now, this Article 6, see, treaties are international law. What is the jurisprudence of Article 6 in the United States Constitution? I think that's, let me talk that, because I think what is the history and jurisprudence of Article 6 of the United States Constitution? Why did the drafters of the United States Constitution in 1787 draft this in the United States Constitution? There was looking at the history. In 1777, the subjects, the British subjects who were in revolt against the crown, their mother, they were at war. They were in rebellion against their mother, British crown. When they met to draft the Articles of Confederation, remember that war, all right? And they're at war with a monarch. They're at war with their monarch. So when they drafted the Articles of Confederation, they did not want a monarch. They didn't want an entity that would function as a monarch, meaning that they didn't want the central governing body to be more powerful than the states. Remember, why? What's their mindset? That war with a monarch, that war with their mother. All right. So they did not want to create a central body that's more powerful than the states. So in the Articles of Confederation, so what they drafted in the Articles of Confederation, that the states would be independent, separate, and sovereign. That language is in the Articles of Confederation. The central governing body is not more powerful than the states in the Articles of Confederation. Now, of course, remember that's their mind, the war. Now, after the war, there's another set of problems. After the war, now you got this Treaty of Paris. See, the Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and the United States didn't exist in 1777. That war. They're not at peace, that war. So the peace treaty didn't exist. So the peace treaty was not on their mind. So now you have this peace treaty that was 7th in September, signed by the United States and Great Britain in September 1783, and put into ratified by the United States on July 14, 1784. So now they got this peace treaty that's at the forefront. And then they got this Articles of Confederation. They're operating under the Articles of Confederation. They got this peace treaty. The states, as they were doing during the war, were confiscating all the states by 1780, which is during the war, enacted the Confiscation Act, where they were confiscating Tories or loyalists. Tories was a political party in Great Britain. The loyalists are the ones who did not fight, who remained loyal to Great Britain. They're called loyalists. The Tories is of the political party they belong to in Great Britain. So this was they enacted the Confiscation Act and the Trespassing Act, 1780, 1778, 1779, 1780. All right, but there was no peace treaty. So now Alexander Hamilton represented during the time of war. Alexander Hamilton, he was a patriot, meaning that he was not a loyalist. He fought against the crown. He was a lawyer. He represented Tories. He represented 60 cases. He represented, he want to make, these are wealthy Tories. These are wealthy loyalists. So he's trying to get paid. So he represented 60 cases. So I'm mentioning Alexander Hamilton. He plays a major role. Alexander Hamilton plays a major role. Now you got the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, signed, sealed, and delivered. Signed in September 1783, ratified in January 14, 1784. The states are still violating. So now the peace treaty, it's front and center. The peace treaty is front and center. During the drafting of the Articles of Confederation, the peace treaty was not in front and center because they were at war. But now the peace treaty is front and center. The Articles of Confederation is too weak. The states got too much power. The states are not yielding. We need an instrument that has, whereby the central governing body has more power. We got this peace treaty to deal with. James Madison, Alexander Hamilton led the way. They were the main ones. Remember I said, Alexander Hamilton represented 60 Tory cases. Alexander Hamilton and James Madison led the way to 1787. They led the way because they were schooled in international law. the Federalist Papers, the authors of the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison. So this got, look, see, this is, the history is important. See, the history, I'm giving you the history behind Article 6. Therefore, it has more meaning. You're not just reading the document outside of context of history. You just, the history is important, very important, because when you know the history, it makes it more powerful, has more meaning. It ain't just put it in there. So this was for the states. Article 6. All right. Society, Howenstein versus Lynham makes it very clear. Remember, Virginia was, violent. Virginia made it the point that they didn't have, they had confiscated, sold Howenstein's, Solomon's Howenstein 3 property. And Virginia was holding fast on Virginia state law, which was in direct violation of the treaty, the 1850 treaty between the Swiss Confederation and the United States. And this is why we see how we coming back, how this all comes back. This is why we read Howenstein versus Lynham, because in there, about 5 or 6 paragraphs that we read, that Amanda read, the Supreme Court emphasized the importance that emphasized the point that the states were bound. So that was for the states. Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation. I guess y'all didn't think, like I said, I don't give no short answers. There's no short answers. Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation and Article 6 of the United States Constitution. Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation, there's drafted in there the language that the states are independent, separate, and independent. That language is not the United States in that Constitution, though. So that, see, they took that was they had to handle that. It's are bound. Terrence, call, what's the name? Call Al-Kanan for me. He called me twice. I've sent him the link.
I don't know if I have his new number.
Oh, I thought you had his number. No problem. I'll continue. I'll call him when I get done.
I don't have his new number.
All right. So so this Article 6. So this, see, I have to explain it this way for you to understand why Article 6. It's for them. These treaties are international law. Like there's so much, the Supreme Court in Howenstein versus Lynham and other cases, and we mentioned them, is that binds the states. See, under the Article of Confederation, the central governing body could not. I mean, John Day was Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he would petition, the central governing body to address abuses by the states. but it was just a request. He said it wasn't, the central body wasn't strong enough. So that was the discussion, a main discussion in 1780 at the Constitutional Convention. In fact, they were given, each state was given the task to bring forth a proposal. I mean, they didn't, all right, they didn't meet, all right, they did not meet in March 1787 with a blank paper. They didn't meet with a blank paper. No. Each one had the task to present a proposal for a constitution. They didn't meet with a blank paper. They decided on James Madison's plan. So they went when they were working from James Madison's plan. They wasn't working from blank paper when they met in March 1787.
Beautiful, Professor, beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm going to call
Yes.
on Kanan. It is important. All right. Continue,
Beautiful.
Shem.
Yes, and as Professor Abdullah is saying, the article, in order for the article to be the supremacy clause to be a force against the states, is that the Constitution is a compact agreement. Let me explain. I'm gonna go back. Abdullah said, I'm gonna go back. When the commissioners and the government body of the colonies assembled the people together to rise up against the Lord Proprietors, the Lord Proprietors went to the crown and said that this is revoked in the colonies, all the colonies by the subjects and also the government body. Now, when this happened, they didn't have no jurisdiction to assemble. So this is why they went to France and signed a treaty with France. Then they went to the Little Abbey Moors and signed a treaty called in 1778. The United States, the rebels signed 2 treaties because they can't fight a war on going to somebody else's jurisdiction, another free government. So they had the peace treaty with France and the peace treaty with Little Abbey Moors. Reading the treaty, they went to the Little Abbey territory to attack the British forts. So by getting a treaty signed with France and Great Britain and the Little Abbey Moors, they was able now to assemble as a political body to self-determine. The first thing they were given land. They're going to French and the Moors dominion and form a capital. Now, when they signed these treaties, before they signed the peace treaties, already was, because they're operating not in Great Britain territory, they also operated in the Moors territory and in France. So when they signed a treaty in 1783 with the crown, that enabled them now to go back into the colonies to self-determine among themselves and have elections, be a political body and vote among themselves their own elected officials. In the colony, they own no territory, they own no land. They just went there to operate self-determined among themselves as a corporation, corporate government. But they already had allegiance. They were a debtor to France and Little Abbey Moors. So when they formed the Constitution was a treaty between all the states. The Constitution created, that's the mother of the United States of North America. What happened is, once they signed that Constitution, every representative of the state was endorsed with sovereign power. Once he signed binds the whole state by his signature. Because he's the head authority, authorized agent, officer that can sign on behalf of all the people and the self-determined people who have their own political power. Once they sign and put together the instrument, it becomes an international agreement between the states. They become all together to one monarchy called a central body called a federal government. Yes. That's why the Constitution was written. It's that all inherent powers in Congress. So, not the courts, not the executive office, say Congress, the legislature. So, the reason why they put when Esquires wrote that, remember, all these people that wrote that went and signed these treaties was double agents. They were working for France, Spain, and Great Britain. Yes, they was, because the Esquires wrote that. Look what they wrote in there: the supremacy clause, Article 6. Submitting the dominion power of the crowns, France, Spain, Great Britain, All these foreign nations that first signed a treaty with the Aboriginal people here. So they had to write that in there because that's binding. They won't be allowed to go back into the territories of the state and self-determine without the treaty in 1783. And certainly won't be able to fight a war with Great Britain unless they had France and Spain aiding them. Remember, the United States revoked, the subjects revoked, but Spain also fought against Great Britain and France and Spain joined the war. What it did, it split the European alliance. They have a peace alliance between all the nations. That revoked revolution split that. This is why the United States signed a treaty with Spain, they signed a treaty with France, and the Lenape Moors. Now, by doing that, that's their law. That's their paperwork. That's their authority to operate as a government. Now, when they went to Great Britain signed a peace treaty and having the esquires write the treaty and make sure that the treaties are supreme law of land in all the states. Why? Because they go back in the colonies now. Remember, once they go in the colonies, the British law is power. The British got a right to protect their subjects and their property and their land, their territory, their dominion. So once the states went back into them colonies, they had a right to self-determine, but they create one central government that had power.
Hold on, Shem. Terrence is upset. Al-Kanal's waiting to get in.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, he should be in. He should be in.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, peace, brother.
Okay, Professor Abdullah laid it out. You can't get no plain than that. See, that treaty clause had to be placed in there that makes sure that the conquest sovereigns agreements are still enforced against them subjects and whatever state they're in. Whatever operation they operate in, they won't be able to do that without these international agreements with these foreign powers. So by having the right to self-determine, they had to put the agreements in. If the agreement was not the law of the land, then they didn't have a right to be here. They have a right to go to French territory. They have a right to deal with the Moorish territory. They have a right to go to Spanish jurisdiction, dominion. They definitely had a right to go to British dominion, which the colonies. So therefore, the treaty got to be the law of the land because it's the power to give them the power to operate, the symbol as a self-determined body and be a separate political community to make their own determination. So without those treaties, it's impossible. It's like the Constitution. Without their mother, they can't be birthed. The Constitution gave birth to the United States of America. Without that Constitution, there will be no United States of America. Once the states representatives signed that Constitution, they gave their right, they waived their sovereignty to be independent, to put it all in one central government that had a power now to make all international agreement with all foreign nations in Morocco or anywhere in the earth. That central power was delegated authority by the Constitution, the mother. The mother, that's the inherent power. They have the inherent power. And whatever they signed and ratified was binding on all the states together collectively, not one, all of them. By signing it, they waived their sovereignty. Once they agree to do that, now Article 6 only certifies cement the sovereign powers that was already here before the United States was formed. The United States could not assemble or go into any parts of their dominions without what? In that agreement. And once the United States rose up and agreed to be separate, they became a separate, self-determined organization. Therefore, they became foreign to France. Although a lot of them was French, Spanish, a lot of them was French. They were British, they were Portuguese, they were Irish, they were Italian. But once they separated themselves as rebels and they agreed to self-determine among themselves, the only right they had to be here, their symbol was based on an agreement, international agreement with these sovereign powers that was already occupying the dominions. So that's why that call had to, that supremacy call had to be there at the law of the treaty of the law of the land, meaning that the Constitution couldn't even be written without these treaties. Their power to assemble and orders given by the crowns, the crown. Remember, Spain, France, and Great Britain, and the Moors, and the Lenape Moors, and the Emperor of Morocco. So The treaty is the law, not the Constitution. The Constitution is not forced against a war. The Constitution just certifies the validity of a treaty, the international agreement that operates in all the self-determined places that the state are operating, doing political affairs at. That is supreme law of the land, because without that, they cannot operate on civil. They cannot operate civil. They can't even do a map, a survey map, a political jurisdiction, because they don't own land. Like the New Haven case say, there's no title in state. How can the state get title when it was not even granted as a lower proprietor? They was only allowed to go there self-determined. They was given permission to go there. They wasn't ceded, they wasn't granted or patented of any land. The land was already patented to the lower proprietors. Georgia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, these are lower proprietary land, already patented.
All right, Shem, we're gonna go right back. Let's go back to the consular notification. We just wanted, this was great that we were able to give the history and jurisprudence of Article 6 of the United States Constitution. So let's get back to the consular notification. You want to go to the document? You want to continue to, where are we with the document? You want to continue, Shem, talking on consular notification?
Yes. Before the UN even passed this convention, a lot of treaties, commerce treaties already stipulated that the council had jurisdiction in any criminal or civil dispute arising between the receiving nation and the hosting nation, or hosting state. Now, the convention was now that it was there was nations, nationals that operated in nations that didn't have a treaty between one another. They had the right to be protected. So all the World Congress, the ambassadors that passed laws, a convention, which is a multi-bilateral treaty, which afforded that national that was of the receiving state living in another state jurisdiction and didn't have a treaty. They had the right to be represented by the council of their nation. See, a lot of these states didn't have treaties with one another. This cemented that, where they could be protected. Now, on the Moorish treaty, when the Moors got legislative jurisdiction over all civil criminal matters, that means that the council is not only summoned, the council only one can make a adjudication decision in that criminal civil matter. This is self-executed. In the 1856 treaty between Great Britain and Morocco, it's self-executed in the Leninapi Moor Treaty. It said that if a Moor is locked up, a Leninapi locked up, that it should be that a jury should be of their own peers. Also, and a deputy should be there in Congress, directed Congress. That's in the treaty. Now that's self-executed. In the Moroccan treaty, it made it clear that the Moors got exclusive jurisdiction in all criminal civil matters. And the treaty between the Dey of Algiers and the United States is that if any criminal civil matter arose between each party, the Dey of Algiers should be the one, the delegate. That's the council. So when there were Moors, the Moors not only got to accept the council jurisdiction, they're the only one to hear evidence and adjudicate the matter. The matter can go before the court because there's nothing in the treaty allowing that receiving nation the power to make a determination through their courts. It's not the treaty. It make it clear the council that's self-executed. Once the word council is there, doesn't say each judge of each state shall have a right to determine what the matter is. It's not in there like that. It's a council. So this is why treaties are very important. And the treaties can only be enforced by government structure, by a head of state, a legislature, a judiciary, and a cabinet of these government functions that's appointing and selecting certain officials, creating certain offices, agencies that do government-to-government relationship and diplomacy with the foreign receiving states. That is the treaties with Morocco. So you got to have a political body, a self-determination that vote, a democratic Republican form monarchy that delegate power to a man or woman to hold office for a certain amount of time. And once that's over, the monarchy is the people. No one can be elected delegated authority unless the people give them that right, like an emperor. No one can hold that authority unless the emperor appoint that president or prime minister. So the people got the right to self-determine. That's their right. If we go ahead and set up political power structure, we can do the same thing. We can make laws that force among ourselves. Any immigration law, any law dealing with nationality or foreigners living in our land now. We try how we deal with them, not how they deal with us in their political jurisdiction. Their political jurisdiction is here. So we got it right now. The council can say, listen, I will make this determination based on a treaty of Great Britain. They can do that. Know why? Because Great Britain said any state by conquest or treaty. United States is a country by treaty, 1783. So based on the treaty reading, all authority is given to who? In the council and the Mukti of the Moorish government. The Treaty of Granada gave the Moors the right to self-determine the political power they already had. They never lost that. So that's why the council jurisdiction is very important. And now, what the UN did was embrace the high principle of that common law that already existed between nations that did have a treaty. What they gonna do? If I go to a country that's not a treaty in my country, we'll have a treaty. So what happens if I get locked up, something happens, at least my council got a right to come in and help me out, protect me, based on that international agreement. Now, if it's already a treaty establishing the rules of the game, a policy between both receiving and hosting nation, that means that treaty is self-executed. It goes into effect is who's the one got authority to hear the case? Council, not no federal court, not no state judge, not no Senate. Council. The council is the head authority. Well, all evidence get weighed or get heard, it gets put to, like you go before a judge in a criminal case, a civil case. You say, I want a jury, I want a judge. The judge, the reason why they allow the judge to hear the case in the state, because the judge got power to speak because he's dealing with a United States citizen or a resident of the state. It's no different than an international treaty. The Constitution don't give a Moor the right in his own damn land. The Constitution makes sure that the Moors' unalienable rights are protected in his land among the conquest governments. That's very important. Go ahead, Abdul, you add?
No, that was good, brother. Let me say this, Shem. I'm thank you for tying this into government structure. When we go to New York on December 14th, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to lay out. I'm going to do a 15-minute presentation to talk about our entire structure, our educational structure, all the courses you and I, I've put together for the past 3.5 years. What we're doing with El Kanan and all that, the Moorish the Alliance, we're going to present that. We have an educational structure. We have a community outreach structure. The educational structure facilitates, fuels the community outreach structure. The educational structure fuels the political structure. Without an educational structure, you cannot build or facilitate a political structure. What do you mean, Abdullah? You have to be educated. This is why we had these classes. This is why Shim and I developed curricula for the past 3.5 years. There's no you have ambassadors worldwide, consul generals worldwide, vice consuls worldwide. They go to school. I'm leading to this point. There are conscious Moors to say we're not doing anything, which means they don't see the value in education. They will call what we're doing not doing something. I'm not making this up. There are conscious Moors that will call what we're doing, this class right now, today, not doing something. Which means they're screwed, they're messed up in the head. those conscious Moors are messed up in the head because they don't see the value of education. Once again, ambassadors worldwide, consul generals worldwide, vice consuls worldwide, they go to what? School of international law. They don't just do. Going to school is doing something. Going to school is doing something. All right. I have a daughter. I'll say to her, won't you, my daughter is in high school. She'll be 16 years old on Halloween. So when she graduates from high school, I'm gonna tell my daughter to apply for an engineering job. And she's gonna look at me like I'm crazy, and she should. How in my world that my daughter can apply for an engineering job, electrical engineering, with a high school diploma, which means she don't even have the knowledge? Just do. It's utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. DuPont, just do. Just fix the plumbing. Well, he's able to fix the plumbing because he is trained. He's educated. He ain't just going to somebody's house and just do. He's not just tinkering. He's educated. He's trained. Where is that coming from? I have to address this. Where's that coming from? Terrence, I said this to Terrence about 5 or 6 times over the past 2 months. I said, Terrence, it seems to me that when talking about some conscious Moors, not all conscious Moors, when Moors become conscious, this is referring to some, not all, it seems to me like they get dumber. It seems to me, Terrence, that they get dumber. It's just so, and
What was my response?
Terrence, what did you say to me, Terrence?
What was my response? Do you remember?
No, I don't, please. I don't.
I don't remember my exact words, but it was pretty much like Moors being taught by other Moors. It was what did I say? Moors,
Moors be taught by other Moors.
Moors are being misled by other conscious.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yes, yes.
So now we're in this paradigm of misconception, and it's like that thing gone where you see people in like the Baptist church. No matter where you are, whether you're in Philly, West Coast, East Coast, North Coast, wherever you are, if somebody say God is good, somebody in Florida going to say all the time. Guess what? Somebody in Georgia is going to say all the time God is good. Everybody know the same thing. So when you're taught a misconception and it's spread like wildflower, like a wildfire, everybody believes the same thing, the same exact thing. Now, just because this conscious Moor agrees because he heard it from some YouTube channel, everybody agrees with the same misconception. And as long as it's spread out there and it makes it look true, like you have conscious Moors, like you have conscious Moors talking to cops, and when the cops drive off or something, then they're like, yeah, like I told him, and then play it like that's the way to go to everybody else. So when the next person tries it, it don't work. You're discouraged. Like, I mean, it's so many misconceptions out there, and it's hurting. It's hurting us. Not helping. But that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. I need to
I
say,
want to comment.
yes, please. Oh, yes.
Abdullah, I want to comment real quick.
Yes,
I don't
please.
have any light to shed.
Please.
Well, no. Hold on. That's not. I'm not doing this tonight. But my
No,
only
make
thing
the
is,
comment. Make the comment.
hold on. The only thing is that I'm saying is, I'm gonna make the comment. That's very important because I had my big sister on the line, and her big sister was on the line. But there's a lot going on at home in California right now. But when she gets back on, not today, but at some point, she's part of this movement now. She's part of this movement now. So and when she asks her questions, we'll kind of figure out who she is, or you guys figure out who it is. But the fact of the matter is, that's very important because it was a question that was being asked to me about an hour ago. That there's so many other groups that are out here. How do I know who is the proper person to listen to? There's so many splinter cells of groups, and she was naming some groups to me, like, are you all a part of this one? Are you part of that one? Are you part of that one? And I said, we, like what Terrence was saying, and also what Abdullah was saying, is that, we got folks out there who are conscious as far as their Moorish nationality, but they're not conscious to the Moorish law or Moorish treaties and just Moorish knowledge. So it's okay to know who you are, but if you don't know how to apply the information, if you don't know how to understand, and this is the only way that we're gonna do this, family. This is a community, and we've got to sit here and we've got to study independently, and we have to come together with these meetings, and we have to understand this, because what we're doing, where a lot of other leaders, Nation of Islam, the Negro Improvement Association, all of these different organizations, personally, I think they did a good job as far as getting us strength, as far as this is who I am. As far as I'm proud to know that there's some knowledge out here. But the issue is nobody's setting up government. What we are doing right now is 1 trillion times greater than any of our nationalist movement organizations have ever done. And the best thing to do right now is stay the course. What I mean by that, keep coming to Wednesday, keep coming to Sunday, keep listening and listening, because we're going to provide marching orders. We're going to provide things. And the fact of the matter that you're on the line right now, you say, well, I don't know nothing. The fact of the matter that you're on the line and you're hearing some of the same things over and over again, that is what's going to get you going. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to play advocate. I'm not going to use this term of devil's advocate, because that's another topic. We got to get into the devil and talk about fertility, but that's not what this conversation is about. But I do want us to at least touch again. Every time that I'm on, I'm always going to throw this thorn out here, and that is inter terra convena, because the way I was looking at it was always about our reaction, our attitude as Moors, how we would treat each other, or just how we would respond. And I was like, it's killing me. Our people are killing me. It's upsetting me. You know what I'm saying? And Abdullah had to keep on breaking it down to me, brother, that's inter terra convena. And I'm like, man, if he says that one more time, I swear for God. But then when Terrence started in August, started approaching it from the treaty, from land ownership, the whole thing, I was like, oh, snap. You're kidding me. This many facets. These treaties, Shem has said this before, we've got these as different articles. There are different things that are layered underneath these treaties that when you look at the entire piece, you get to understand what the whole treaty is talking about. It's just not talking about A, Article B, Article C, Article D. It's talking about everything. It's putting everything in perspective. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I know it's being recorded and a lot of folks have this issue about there's so many conscious Moors, there's so many individuals, there's so many organizations, and they're talking about stuff, and the stuff that they're talking about is ending up killing folks or getting folks arrested or whatever the case it is, because even though they're conscious, they're ignorant of the facts. So that's why you need to stay the course. We are building the community now, guys, and this isn't, well, I'm just gonna say it that way because I tend to be real blunt and I don't want to step on any toes. So go ahead, I'm muting.
All right. Thanks, brother. And that's the reason why when I spoke about the misconceptions, that's why I went back to the Constitution, to that article in the Constitution, the supreme law of the land, is because Moors don't hear it like that, right? Moors, and then so I didn't want that to be lost. I didn't want us to just read over it and then just go on to the next subject. I know we're on consular notification, and we're not talking about the Constitution, but we would have, I guarantee you somebody's mind went to that article and said, treaties are see, right there, it says, treaties are the supreme law of the land because, article, whatever, Constitution, from the no. So I didn't want that to be overlooked. And thanks a lot, Abdullah, for explaining that and going into that and going into the history, because Moors do not hear the history of that article in the Constitution. And so you have Moors that think that that treaties are the supreme law of the land because the United States Constitution said so. And that's not the case. So thanks a lot for going through that. All right.
Yeah, let me emphasize on this before we got to keep this plain and true. First of all, that article is a judgment against all the states. It had to be put in there. See, let me explain what I mean. See, the judgments are the treaties against all the subjects of the Crown, France, Great Britain, Portuguese, that's assembled in one community, organization, going back into the colonies, forming government. That article is a res judicata judgment, and the states or any government body, agency, or collateral estoppel for going against that. That's why the Esquires wrote that there. So we dealing with a judgment that made all the states debtors to them agreements. They had to do that. That way now it won't take away the power of the government assembled together. Because without that central part of government, none of the treaties will be nothing. Congress assembled together, there will be no authority by the states, because no state can enter any allegiance with any other foreign government. So they'll have no sovereignty. So let me explain. See, that's a res judicata judgment. See, the articles are judgments. They are pre-adhesion judgments, just like the treaty between Morocco and Great Britain, the treaty of 1783 between Great Britain and United States, the Linden Abbey Treaty. The reason why they are not forced, because we have educated society that know how to enforce that, and officers that we appointed that said, wait, I'm going to rule based on the common law. We're going to look back. I'm not going by no statute of the state, because that statute does not override the treaty. I have to go by what gave the state authority to even have a Congress to pass a law. So we got to understand that. The next time we come on, I want Abdullah to bring up that case. I'm gonna give it to him. De facto versus de jure. You must know this. A government or agency or officer or official to operating outside the judgments of the Constitution is de facto, I mean illegitimate, illegal. That means the only reason why they can be said having force because whoever the party is submits himself to the power of that de facto government and changes its political status. Y'all Moors going to court to litigate a Moor treaty. You de facto, and of course, if they hear your case, they operate de facto. I mean, there's no constitution or treaty provision to give that judge power to hear that case, or give you the power to go in and litigate with them. So that's de facto. So you operate de facto, they operate de facto. So anything happen, it can't benefit the Moors. It's going against the treaty stipulations. It's very important. So in order to do this, we got to man up and woman up, come together, form our society, claim who we are, because a lot of unconscious Moors say, they ain't gonna listen to that. They're gonna say we ain't Moors. Well, wait. Let's examine this. Let's go back. The Armistead case, when the Africans took it out of their land forcibly by a ship owned by Spain. Listen to me. In that court, they made it clear that we are Africans. You call us Negroes, but we free born. I mean, we claim to be from a country. See, in order to get protection of the Moorish Treaty, you must claim to be an heir or descent from these states and tribes that's of Morocco. Now, once you make that claim and say we were forcibly subjugated to the schools, what's the proof? Proof is you call us something that the Aboriginal people of the land never call itself. The Moors always inhabited this land. They signed treaties in the 16th century. You didn't teach that in the school system. You didn't teach them more. You taught them something they're black, Negro, colored. There's no such, under common law, ancient law, there's no such people identified. Not even in the Bible, there's nobody identified as a colored or black man. We got to see what's going on. We got what you call war going on to linguistics, language. Let me explain. Once somebody can get you to identify yourself outside what your ancestor was, you automatically change your political status. You didn't change your nationality, because that's blood. That's consequently. You change your political status. Now you get a court power state. Power because you become a merchandise and property of the state. They can't come and say, well, we got a birth certificate. That's a fraud. That's fraudulent. You can't claim to have birth certificate to my body. You know, I'm not of your government. You can't do that. You know what you're saying? You committed slavery, human rights violation. You enslaved the people to a digital service, to a system, a vice you set up. So this is why government is very important. And like Abdullah right, if you're not educated, you don't know this. This is what we have. This is very important. When a man protects his house, who speaks up? The mother and the father for the children. A house itself can have power. You mean tell me, if you don't understand the functions of a house, if a man got a wife, the Air Corps Confederacy understood that and gave power to the woman to train the child, to bring them up, educate them in the rituals, rites, and customs of their people, their tribes. That way they can stand up and become officials. They train and raised in the house by the mother. She teaches them all the rituals, customs, festivals, ceremonies of the tribe, her people. That way they can represent that tribe as a tribal official. This is very important. Now, we as a host of houses got to come together and form a community where we can make that self-determination among ourselves, in order to protect our schools, in order to protect our education system, in order to take our wife, our children, our land. We got to have government structure where we come in place and say, hey, listen, we got this. If we got help, if we got a health crisis, we got to help administer help. We got somebody to take care of our business for us. Nobody self-determined. That's the right. No one can take away from us. It's a inherent right. Until we come together as a political power and say, you know what? We have to do this. Why? Everybody else around is doing it. In other words, how you have a corporation, have articles of corporation? What's the articles of corporation for? To bind what? All the officers, board of directors, CEO, everybody's bound by the what? The constitution of the articles of corporation. They're bound by that. It is the mother that create that corporation. If I sit down and say I'm gonna create a corporation, what do? I write. My thoughts are the seeds. Once I write them on paper, that's the seeds. What gives it life? My divinity. I spoke it, wrote it in existence. Therefore, I don't become the creator, I become the mother. So whatever that corporation name is, I'm the mother of it. That's the masculine and feminine. I got a masculine principle, identity, and I got a feminine a part of it. Every man got that, every woman got that, masculine and feminine. Yes, you do. Everybody got it. Ain't got to do with being gay and nothing. It's in everybody. Even in the divinity world, the unseen world, there's a masculine and feminine principle. So the divinity get nourished by the celestial realm, the sun nourishes the earth, a seed comes up and grows to a flower or a vegetable or fruit or plant. It dies. When it dies, the sun brings it back. Bring that seed back. That's a resurrection. See, what we got here is that we got to go ahead and resurrect our culture, which though we can bring back what our ancestors, see, what our ancestors wrote on paper is not dead. We got power to breathe life, to bring it back. We got that power, the divinity in us. Once we went to that mother womb and that divinity formed us, when we come out, we got power. We got breath, air, carbon. The spirit is in us. We got to resurrect the old ruins. We got to bring them back and restore them. That's our job. Let's do that. Anything you want to talk about, Professor?
Thank you, Shen. That was very good. So we're not off the topic, because in order to, if you're talking consular notification, you can only talk on it about it in the construct of government. It ain't a separate discussion. Consular notification, dealing with central authority, the topic for Sunday on Moroccan Post on Trump TV. Once again, Moorish treaty enforcement through diplomatic channels, the United States Central Authority. So none of this cannot be discussed. This must be discussed. These topics of treaty enforcement must be discussed in the context of Moorish government structure. So Shim is making that tie. And I'm glad Terrence, made the point of really going into, for me to go into Article 6. I thank you, Al-Kanan, for your comments. Very good, man, very good. You must continue to discuss this in the context of Moorish government structure. Outside of that, it cannot be implemented.
I have a question.
Yes, please, please.
And because it's recording, I'm playing advocate. And you know,
All
I'm
right.
not gonna put the adjective in front of the advocate.
Yes.
No. But do we have a seat or recognition in the united community, the United Nations? Are we a legal, recognized, accepted state recognized by other countries?
All right, let me answer that. Let me answer that, Shem. All right. Yes. Let me answer it. I'm gonna say yes. 1952 case between France and the United States. I said yes, and I'm support my yes.
Right. Yes.
1952 case between France and the United States in the International Court of Justice. There were 3 types of treaties. This was a most favorable nation case. The France claimed to have the most favorable nation status over the United States. So France filed a memorial in the International Court of Justice, which started the case. United States, 6 months later, filed a counter memorial. Well, anyway, the 3 types of treaties that were used to determine the extent of United States consular jurisdiction in Morocco, the primary type of treaties were the Moorish bilateral treaties with England and France and Belgium and United States and Great Britain and Sardinia and France between 1631 and 1892. The second type of treaty are two multilateral treaties. The Act to Protect Morocco in 1880 and the Act of Algeciras, 1906, 1907. The third type of treaty, the Fez Treaty of 1912. France stood on Moorish treaties. The recognition of the Moroccan Empire exists. The recognition is already there. What El-Kanan was asking, all right, this is what El-Kanan is asking. Are there people like El-Kanan and myself, and Terrence, and Shem, and Viserius, and that's Murray Bay? Are there people, are there conscious Moors like us, all right? Is there an ambassador? This is what El-Kanan is asking. Is there an ambassador? Because it's still yes to his answer. It's not no to his answer, because he says recognition. So yes to his answer. But what El-Kanan is asking, is there a Moorish ambassador other than the ambassador to the kingdom of Morocco's ambassador to United Nations? You're not asking about that. Not asking about the kingdom of Morocco. You're not asking, yes, there is an ambassador. Yes, there is a nameplate. Yes, there is a nameplate, Morocco. There's a nameplate, and somebody an ambassador of the kingdom of Morocco sit in front of that nameplate in United Nations. Yes, he's not asking about that. He's asking about, is there an ambassador? I know I'm trying to be very clear. Is there an ambassador, Moorish ambassador, that was appointed by a Moorish head of state among those who were once classified as Negro colored black? All right, Negro colored black, and they've now become conscious and they form government structure, and all right, the head of state appoints a Moorish ambassador to the United Nations. No. So no to that question. No to that. No to that. But yes to the recognition. Yes to the recognition. The Moroccan Empire is recognized. France stood on those treaties to win her case. I mean, that they recognized pre-existing treaties with the Moroccan Empire, even with not only with France, but with other nation states during the 16, 17, 1800s. So the recognition is there. But that's not what El-Kanan was asking. So yes to his question, but I wanted to clarify what he was really asking. How did I do?
All right, that was good. You answered my question. Now my question, and this is very important because there's a lot of confusion around understanding and overstanding. Do we have a seat at the United Nations, and are we recognized? Now, the part two of that is, are the treaties, and you answered this in your question dealing with France, but I want to go deeper to make sure it's clear and be transparent. Are the treaties enforceable today?
Yes, there's an article that's in the United States State Department. All the treaties that's enforced of 2020, 2000, yes. And in one of the treaties that the countries between the United States is Morocco's on that list. I get the article, send it to you. It's in the United States Journal. all the treaties recognized nations of the United States as of this day. Morocco is on the list. And it must be there. You know why? Because without Morocco not being there, how they got sovereignty? See, you have to remember, when the United States is very
Hold on,
clear.
Shem. Hold on, Shem. Hold on, Shem. Hold on, Shem. Let's go back to the case. Go back to the 1952 case.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm saying, yes.
Go back to the 1952 case because that's more powerful. The
Right.
1952 case is more powerful. It's
Yeah,
more because
and the Fez Treaty, also
yes,
the Fez
I'm saying
Treaty.
the case. No,
Right.
saying that's in the case though. Shem, the Fez Treaty is in the case. The
Yes.
three types of treaties. Let's just go back. What I'm saying is use the same document that I use, like to answer Elkanah's question. Use the same case. Use the same case that I used to answer his question.
Yes, yes. I'm
saying this because this is a case in the International Court of Justice. We're not talking about United States court. We're not
This is a world court.
in the United
A
States
world court.
We're talking about a case in the International Court of Justice.
A world court, yes. As a matter of fact,
no, hold on, Shem. Let me say it again, because I want people to make this point. This is key. The primary type of treaties that were used to determine the extent of United States the extent of United States consular jurisdiction in Morocco were Moorish bilateral treaties with France, England / Great Britain, Portugal, the Netherlands.
hey, that's right.
Belgium, Sardinia, Denmark, between 1631 to 1892. I'm saying there that treaties in the 1600s were referenced, were used. I just want, because you got to give them something that's solid. That's a case. What is the issue? We have to recover. We have to get back. We have to start being in a position so that we can recover our personality of law. That is a term that's in that's a term and that's in the United States Council Memorial.
Yes.
In the United States Council Memorial that y'all have, the 15-page excerpt that I've sent out. It's a 600-page document. The term personality of law is used. So you've seen the term before. It was read. Amanda read it. Personality of law. We have to get back into government array so that we can reattach, so we can reestablish our relationship with the treaty nations. So the issue is all on us.
Absolutely.
We have to recognize ourselves. I mean, yes, there are Moors. That's not recognizing yourself, saying you're Moor as an individual. Walking around on the street saying you're Moor. I'm talking about recognizing in government structure. Recognizing that constitution. The recognition of a people is through a national constitution.
That's right.
The recognition of a people is through a people recognizing themselves as a body is through a formation of a national constitution. A people recognizing themselves. So he says, well, we recognize ourselves. No, you don't. What's your constitution? Huh? I thought you said you recognize yourself. Let me explain. the term the people and the phrase we the people, the term the people, and used in political science and principles of jurisprudence does not carry the same meaning as the people are playing in the park. No, no. The term the people means the repository of the collective sovereignty of a people expressed in a written constitution. The phrase we the people references the repository of the collective sovereignty of the people expressed in a written constitution. So that collective sovereignty is embodied, the body of the people and their collective power is expressed in a national written constitution. That is the recognition, that is the people recognizing themselves. The problem with us, we're lacking with fundamentals. Individual Moors walking around saying they're Moors, that's not a recognition of yourself. When I say we got to get out of this individual crap. When you say I, Abdullah Ilta, if I say I, Abdullah Ilta Mesa Bey, I recognize myself. Yeah, but what about government structure, Abdullah? But the recognition of yourself is your tie to a governing body that has a constitution. That's the recognition of yourself, Abdullah. Abdullah, what principles you talking about? That individual stuff? That's who taught you that? Who taught you that? Who taught you that artificial fake stuff? Who taught you that artificial fake stuff that's not universal principle? You as an individual, Abdullah, you as an individual say that you're free, but millions of Abdullah, Abdullah, how can you be free, Abdullah, when millions of your people are still unconscious? Please, Abdullah, explain that to me. Please, Abdullah, how can you be free, Abdullah, when millions of your people still remain unconscious, right? Your people have yet to recover the lost Moorish sovereignty. Your people have yet to assemble into a national government structure, into a national constitutional body. How are you saying you're free, Abdullah, when millions of your people are still unconscious? You idiot, Abdullah. You're an idiot, Abdullah. That's faulty thinking. I rest my case.
Yes, beautiful. I said this at one of the classes that we had. I said, when you look at an act that you got like 25 nations that signed the act, let's say 100 years ago. And these same nations that signed the act are the same nations that ratified and put together an international government body, a world government, and they parties to that government, automatically the act or that treaty got to automatically be enforced. It never go out of force because it's the act that allowed one sovereign to have a dominion in a country, in a territorial land of another country. So therefore, that treaty always gonna stay active, because if it don't stay active, that means that foreign nation got to leave. Its nationals got to go. It has no right to be there. So always examine this. Anytime you look at an act that was signed 100 years ago, and you got They say 25 nations that signed the act. These 25 nations are part of the world community to put together the UN. That act always gonna stay in act. The treaty or the agreement always gonna be enforced as long as that international government exists, because that government, them governments are doing business in a foreign land, not their land. Remember, that's not their land. It's our land. They're in our land. We're not in their land. So it's not the fact, treaties still have weight. If it don't have no weight, what they still doing here? If we come together, we can bring a claim and have them removed. Ask them to leave. They got to go. So believe me, that would never come up. The treaty, they don't. The United States know that, and they got to record all the treaties that's still in force. And Morocco's right there on the list. Why Morocco? Why? Why Morocco? United States is operating in not only the political power, but the land territory of Morocco, which Great Britain, France, Spain, all of them got a political dominion and domicile in Morocco. So any act that was signed 90 years ago or 100 years ago by all these nations, all of them are signers to the World Convention. They signed a convention. Therefore, the act is the supreme law of the land in all of them other countries. It's agreement, bilateral agreement. It's multi-bilateral if it's more than one nation. And remember, they got 25 nations signed a one act treaty. That treaty must still be enforced. Because if that treaty not enforced, then the powers don't have power to be here. They got to go. Like the United Nations. If a country don't abide by the United Nations, they got to go. They lose their membership. You lose your membership, somebody says, how can they be punished? Oh, yes, you can be punished. Don't sell you no oil. Don't let you use their banking system. Yeah, they can punish you. The banking system, the commerce. No trade, nobody buy your export, your import, your dollar value, don't have no value. That's called, when they go against you, call it, when you don't follow the international law.
Sanctions.
You could be sanctioned. How they sanction you? By concealing your currency in their country, it's worth no value. They won't buy export from you. They won't sell you nothing. And they sell it to you real high, so bring down your economy. So you got to understand, the United States don't want that. They want to be a good boy, good woman, good mother. They want to be good. They're going to buy. That's why they pass the codes, regulations, and statutes, and legislation said the acts got to be enforced. And they also liaison with the UN through government relationship, create an essential body that deal with all international matters and put every agency in the United States under that. That's that one authority. Yes, they're under that. The State Department, the Congress ordained with the UN through resolutions as a legislation, a central body that all governments, receiving states, signing conventions, treaties, can enforce that treaty or that convention or declaration through the agency. The problem is, we got to make it clear, we don't have a government structure. This is the problem is, when a child is thirsty or hungry, he needs his mother what? Titty. Breast. He got to go to the mother's breast to be fed. We are not going back. We're not going on the treaty. The treaty of Morocco is our mother. We got to go on the breast. We got to be breastfeed. What we doing, we being a starving child, we want to go to the breastfeed. What's the nutrition? We're going to get the treaties, the benefits of the treaties, our land, our prosperity, our minerals, our livestock, our marine territory. That's the nutrition we need, the minerals, the wood. We can build our houses, make our own decisions, self-determined. Where? Off our mother. Our mother left for all these resources. Now we gotta go back on our mother's breast to feed ourselves. When we create the political bodies, we have to come together on the one central national government and sign a treaty among ourselves and take that one national government and say that governments of Morocco, we are states and tribes in Morocco, form our own political band. And let that one nation, national government, represent Morocco for us. That's all the Kingdom of Morocco did. They created a kingdom, a government, and notice it's in Africa, but they never said the Kingdom of Africa. They said the Kingdom of Morocco. They forced the Moorish treaties. They forced the consequentity, political status. It didn't say the Kingdom of Africa, it said the Kingdom of Morocco. See, this is very important. We got to learn this. Why did the kingdom say there was on Morocco? There's no African treaty, say a treaty, United States treaty with Africa, or Portuguese, or Great Britain, France, or Spain treaty with Africa. It said Morocco. Morocco. So the Moors, Moroccans, whether they're Malala Moors or Albion Moors, if you want to call them, they knew they were educated. When they made a claim, they went back to their mother to be protected. Morocco. That's what we have to do. That's very important. That's a good illustration. You can't get no better than that. I read
Hey,
history
Shem,
how they
we
become
got,
a state.
we got 2 questions, Shem. We have 2
Yes,
questions. Can you stay with us until 9:30?
I'll try.
All right. That's all I can ask you. That's all I can ask. That's all I can ask. All right. We have which one? Whose hand was up first? Sheehan.
Yeah.
We have Sheehan. We have S. Murray Bay. Who wants to go first?
Peace. This is Sheehan.
All right, Sheehan. All right.
All right, peace and love. Question. Tell me if this goes back to government structure or not. The act to protect Morocco, what is the extent of, based on your discernment, does this go back to government structure? How far does that go in respect to if, okay, there's no one crime against an individual more. When you harm, pursuant to international law and ancient principles, if you hurt one of that nation, then you attack all of Morocco. So on the other foot, if there is an act to protect Morocco and to help us with our banking and establishing police, our own police force, then why is it on the individual basis, based on the fact that harming one of us is harming Morocco? Then where's the ability for why wouldn't it be then based on that? Why would it be outside the realm of international law or jurisprudence for a British subject violates me or a Frenchman violates me, and why if the act to protect Morocco was there, then why if somebody from another nation does something to us, why isn't that considered act against Morocco? When does that make sense?
Well, let me answer the act. Let me say something. You got all these European powers doing business in Morocco. If one European power decide to take Morocco, the Moors, and try to annihilate them or try to take over the government, Moorish government, they threaten the sovereignty of all the other European powers. So the act is there to make sure that they protect their domiciles, the political power they got in that Morocco, that landmass. See, very important. These Europeans are not stupid. The act to protect Morocco means that if you attack the natives of the land and we in agreement with them, then that means that's an attack on us because they are allies. Remember, all these nations agree that Morocco are their allies. How are we their allies? We allow them to come on our land and use our minerals, our marine, hunt, fish, and do commerce to our ports. Once that happens, once one nation.
Shem, he's all right. The main point of what he's saying, all right, there's an assumption on Sheehan's part. So I want you to address in Sheehan's question, he's assuming that we are in that we have recovered our lost sovereignty, that we have recovered our personality of law. So Sheehan is assuming that we are back to where we were before we fell, so that if he gets messed up by a then he's what such and such cop where he is, it's why where's the protection for Morocco? Well, Sheehan, we're not there. We have not recovered our lost Moorish sovereignty. The recognition is there for Morocco, but we have to attach to that. This is the process. Because I heard assumptions. I heard assumptions of why is he as an individual not protected. This is why you're here, Sheehan, so you can help us facilitate national Moorish government structure and education.
And protect your family, protect your house and your family. Absolutely.
All right. S. Murray Bay.
Islam. I have a question and I had a statement why I asked the question. Is the OAS, the Organization of American States, more powerful in the Americas than the United Nations, which represents the European? And the reason I asked.
No. I mean,
Well,
let me explain.
let me
No.
well, let me finish. Let me explain why. The prophet, he went to Pan American Conference and caused the Great Depression. Instead of going to the League of Nations, who represents the United Nations, okay, and the European nations within the Americas. Okay, so when
Hey,
we had
Murray, you asked the
Katrina, Cuba,
question, though. You asked the
yeah,
question. So let me answer
okay,
the question.
okay,
Let me answer the question. You asked don't you like it's like you let's look at logic. Let's look at logic. You asked the question and then you answering your own question. So you want to ask, are you asking because you asked the question
I asked the question, I had a statement to explain why I asked that question.
But that's answering your own question though. On the brother, I'm just talking about logic.
Okay,
just
so should we go to OAS?
Let's talk pure logic though. We talk about
Okay.
pure. You ask a question and now you're answering your own question. So you're going to ask the question to us. So
No.
that give us opportunity to answer it. Give
Okay,
us
all right.
opportunity.
True.
Give us an opportunity to answer it. All
True.
right. The answer is no. And let me give my reasons. In 1563, Philip II, King of Spain, issued a Spanish bulla classifying the Moors as Spanish, subjugating the Moors. That's part of the Inquisition. Nicaragua, Costa Rica,
Cuba.
El Salvador, Colombia, Cuba, etc. Those are not Moorish states. They're Moors. The people are Moors, but they did nowhere in their preamble, nowhere written in their constitution, Cuba, El Salvador, name it, are they claiming to be Moors. There's 11 of them that have in symbology in their national coat of arms the Moorish fez and the pyramid, but none of them are claiming to be Moors. Those are not pedigrees. Those are not nationalities, pedigrees, consanguinities, national origins, descent, genealogy of the people. The former president, though this is not a nation, this is the Philippines, but I want to make the point. The former president of Philippines, Durante, he had there's 4 sister women behind him. He made the statement that Filipino was named after their King Philip. So to say that if someone says, well, I'm Filipino, oh, you named after your conqueror? That's not your consanguinity. That's your conqueror's name. That is not your genealogy, your ancestry. Dominica, that's Saint Dominique. That's Saint Dominique. Or the Dominicans, that's the priesthood. Dominica, that's the name of a priesthood. That's not the consanguinity. So to say that the Organization of American States is more powerful than the United Nations, when the people have not declared their Moorish nationality, those are new states. Those are new states. And they are not pedigree, ancestry, national origin, descent, nationality, consanguinity, parentage of the people. So there's no way in the world that bodies of people who have not claimed their Moorish nationality still being subjugated under Inter Caetera Divina. To this very day, Spain has occupying jurisdiction to this very day. Those Moors have not claimed their Moorish nationality. There's nowhere you can show me in their constitution that they claim to be Moors. On that basis, they cannot be more powerful than the United Nations. I rest my case. Any other questions?
Right.
Questions, comments, we'll take criticism too.
Question.
All right, I'm going to dive right in because you said in the Terra Cavina. Just a brief overview, just a very brief. You mentioned two things. You mentioned in the Terra Cavina, and I want you to elaborate to give more clarity as far as you can give the short form or the long form.
All right.
Of Inter Terra Cavina, and you mentioned because they did not claim their
Have not claimed their
Moorish
nationality, descent,
pedigree, parentage, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and slip a Mickey. Can I go to the United States government down in immigrations or wherever I'm going to get myself a Moorish passport, an identity card, and reclaim my nationality? Number one. And number two, what is in Terra Cavina?
Go ahead.
I'm gone. I'm done.
Let me answer that. All right. Now, you're not going to say Abdullah said. Nobody who hears my voice will say Abdullah said. Now I'm going to ask you a question, Elkanan. Present to me the Moorish treaty. Present to me the treaty that Morocco has with the United States, whereby, see what I'm doing, y'all? Follow me. Present to me the Moorish treaty that Morocco has with United States, whereby the Emperor of Morocco delegated that authority to the United States. Hear me out. In the 1803 treaty, Louisiana Purchase Treaty, Article 3, Louisiana Purchase Treaty between France and United States, 1803. Article 3 is the citizenship clause. That is how the French subjects who had been there since the 1500s, even when France ceded it to Spain in 1762, they remained. Those French subjects became citizens of the United States by virtue of that Louisiana Purchase Treaty, Article 3. So show me the treaty whereby whatever you said, Elkanan, whatever you said, show me in the treaty. Whatever you said, Elkanan, show me in the treaty. Don't show me no United States nothing. Don't show me no United States Legislation Act. Don't show me no United States Code. Don't show me United States Statute of Law. Show me the treaty between Morocco and the United States, whatever you said in that treaty. And what you said, Elkanah, show me that language in that Moorish treaty, the United States. Or she'll be on next time.
Do I have a treaties to choose from?
Brother, just show me the language. Whatever you said, Elkanah, whatever you said to us.
I can't give
treaty
you,
between Morocco and the United States.
I can't give you that because my wealth of knowledge of treaties is not going to extend to give me that knowledge in order for me to be able to present
Let me help you out.
Brother, hold on, wait a minute. Let me help you out, Elkanah. I'm gonna help you out, brother.
Come on, Terrence. Fight for me, man. Let's go.
It does not exist.
Let's oh, see?
It does not exist.
Up, man. Shim, you should have jumped in there. You should have jumped in to help me out, man. I was looking for help, man. And I'm over here clowning. And Terrence went ahead and knocked me over the head. What type of mess is this, man?
I'm helping you out by explaining how the agreement in the Moors and the Morocco exists. In the treaty between the United States and Morocco, it made it clear that each vessel should have a sign, a passport, and papers aboard of the government. So the treaty made it clear all the nationals have to have papers, passports, and a sign for their vessel from their government, their own government. So therefore, the clause let you know that we don't have to go to the immigration department because there's nothing. The treaty make it clear, it's self-explanatory that Moors have to go to their government, get their passport and their traveling documents anywhere. When they go past port, when they go to another political jurisdiction, their vessel is not only is a car or boat, it's your body. You moving your body. When you move your body to one domicile to another political jurisdiction, the treaty say the papers, passport, and sign. What's that sign? So be on the vessel. The sign is the flag and the emblem on your passport and on your ID. That's the sign of the government. So it's in the Moorish Treaty, and the Great Britain Treaty left it clear. That's not to be decided by any foreign government. Not even the Crown can even determine that. That's the Moorish power to do that. That's a political function. The Treaty of Granada left the political power with the Moors kept the political power, even though they ceded jurisdiction to the foreign power to operate and govern their own national in Granada, but the political power over their own nationals remain their power. Meaning that political power is that you self-determine the laws that govern your people in their own land, in your land. So when it comes down to if a Moor go to the United States and apply for a passport, in order to get there, a foreign visa, first of all, United States national in Japan is not going to the Japanese government to get a passport. He goes to the embassy. He goes to the embassy and apply for a U.S. passport because the United States is in a treaty with that nation, Japan. The United States Department embassy will issue him a passport that places him under political protection in that foreign country based on the treaty. Shall I explain it? I'm trying to explain it to you. You can elaborate that too, Abdullah, if you want.
Nah, you did your thing, brother.
So Elkanah, remember this: when the United States is in a foreign country, a foreign national do not go to the government to get a passport to move back and forth. He goes to the embassy to get a passport. So when he leaves, when he go back into his country, his home country, they will accept him. They won't accept him with a Japanese passport if he dies a United States citizen. That's because they said a fraud. So he goes to the embassy to get a passport. Now, when he come in Japan, he got to have a passport when he leaves Japan. They say, how you come without a passport? That's why he must get a passport because he's in a foreign territory, domiciled in foreign territory. He goes to the embassy to get a passport to place him under international protection by that nation that's a treaty with that nation. So the Moors need a government and be a man and say, you know what? We ain't going to the United States because if you go to the United States, you got to expatriate yourself. You got to be considered as a citizen of the United States or a resident of the state, or you got to be on immigration status. Going there on an immigration status may have come from a foreign country into your political jurisdiction, and I want to stay here, permanent residency here. I mean, you're not alien, you're not a legal alien, you're not from a country with a treaty. Why should they give? They got to give you a passport because now, in order to apply for one, you got to be a ward, an Afro-American, Black, Negro, color. You got one of them. Latino, a Mexican. You got to either one of them. Come on now. Because Moors don't apply for the passport in the United States. The Moors would apply with their government. This right is very important, Al-Qaeda. Manhood, womanhood. It's time now to wear the dress and wear the pants. Stop walking around like we the child, we children. We're not no minors, we're not infants. We're not what you call infant wars, minors, or minority. We are the parents. Now, what we got to do, wear the pants and the dresses. How we do that? Form government, create legislation that force our treaties that self-determination for passports are to be given by what? Our State Department. That's called manhood, womanhood. We got to stand together, form a community, political power, and make our own laws, enforcing our own powers, and designate our own passports under one national government that we will file with that central body to be recognized as a child of Morocco. That's all we got to do. We can make our own passports, not hard. That's the inherent power left to us.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, so are we then able or allowed or permitted or authorized to set up our own government in this United States of America?
Okay, Elkanah, let me answer that. So let's keep it real, Elkanah. Remember, now I'm gonna ask you a question. How are they able to set up government? How was they able to set up their own government? And they foreign to the land. A treaty, right?
Had to form a treaty.
Okay, here we is in our own land. Our ancestors gave rights to foreign governments to be in our land. You telling me you the heir to an estate? You the heir to the estate. You telling me a leasee or a tenant can tell you what to do on your estate that you inherit? On a contract law, there's no such thing. It's impossible. Your mother and father have a leasing on your land, your estate. They're wealthy. You the child of the parents, and not a leasing and tenant telling you that you can't walk on your own estate and build a house, live in your own house. Did that make any sense? That's logic. No. That's logic. Common logic. I got to use a state law. I'm going back to a state law. Any man that's a Moorish woman, knowledge or not, you can have a Moor that's not even conscious. Let them have a house. Their mother have a house. Their mother and father, let somebody be a tenant in that house. And they come in the house and they say, the tenant said, you can't come here. Say, wait a minute, I inherit this house. My name is on the deed now. I got a right to be in here. I'm here because you got to sign a new lease. What? Who gave you power of sign to get up to draw up that lease? I'm the heir. I inherit the estate. If you don't sign the lease, I'm gonna have you evicted, called ejectment. If they agree, if they don't sign your lease and they stay there, they're chief in the estate, and you got power to throw them out. But what you gotta do? You gotta take that agreement and force it in that court, and the court that you consider the political status as what, citizen, a resident, or immigration status. Now, if you're the owner of the house, automatically you go right there, file your paperwork, and say you have to go. Show the paperwork, you're the owner, you inherited, you're the executor of the estate, they gone. So can't no one tell us that we can't legislate or form government in our own state when you hear not illegal, you hear by permission, by amnesty and asylum, you hear by that. You're a farmer of subjects. You're a children of subjects. How dare you tell us we can't do nothing? What you doing here running the government? Tell us, what right you tell us what to do? Where's that written at? That's why the moment that you think in your mind that they have to recognize us, your sovereignty, you denationalize yourself. Your house, everybody in your circle is denationalized now. Know why? Because the thought of the census is dead. You've been taken over in your mind. That means I have to be approved. Now, even the laws of contract and state law, trust law, nobody will allow anybody to take their inheritance from them. They're not part of that estate, that family or that descent or that kinship shit. They said, no, you're not. And you're not gonna let nobody take your estate. You make a claim to the state. Nobody, how dare anybody tell you that that's your mother, father? You don't have a right to do that. That's not your right. That's my right. When I make the claim, you can't even dispute that. Dispute that would be before saying I'm a slave. He puts you in a servitude. You say I don't have a right. Now I become a savage. Now I become a savage now. I don't have no rights. You become a ward, an infant, a minority, or you call what you call an infant, a minority, a ward, or you got a parent. Your parents got to tell you what to do. So the moment that we start thinking that we got to be, if they don't recognize us, we can't do nothing. No, our ancestors recognize them. That's the only reason why they're over here doing something, running the government, because they recognize themselves as being somebody part of their own self-determined community. They don't need us to recognize them. They got documents to say we recognize ourselves. We got a constitution. The same thing with us. No different.
Hey, Shem, you have two questions. You have S. Mary Bay.
Yeah, I got 10 more minutes. I stressed it. Go ahead.
Not
10 more
today.
minutes.
You have
10
S. Mary Bay, then you have
Appreciate
Sheehan
it, brother.
after that.
Appreciate it.
Islam. The only reason I asked that question is because the UN threw Dr. York under the bus. He went to the ILO, deposit his application, and when he came to court, they threw him under the bus. They didn't step in to help him. That's why I said go to the OAS, because when Katrina happened, the Cuba wanted to help the black folk, but the U.S. denied it. Now, if we had somebody at the OAS, we could have said open the ports for Cuba to come in. Right, and they could have came in because OAS controls the Americas. But since we ain't got nobody at the OAS, we have no control in the Americas.
Let me say something. This is not the Americas. That's a political jurisdiction that the Pope exercises authority in the crowns under the Roman states. Now, let me say something. We're gonna get to the part being recognized, not hard. We got that already laid down. What we need is the loyalty of our people. We're not letting nobody become scandals and thieves and run off on the Moors and leave the Moors hanging. We're not doing that. Once we come together and sign a treaty among ourselves and do our national government, I got everything already set up how we get recognized with them, how we deposit with the United Nations and the world body, all the agencies that and overseas in Europe. So it's already set. All we need now is to recognize ourselves. We got a hard time saying who we are. First of all, we got to get the amnesia out of our head. We got amnesia. We got first come together. In order for this to happen, to be recognized, to do all this, we got to first say who we are. As a community of Moorish tribes coming together, ratify one national constitution, then we are the educators. We got it from there. We'll take it further. We got to do from there. That's not a problem. And as Michael Bay would know, that the main thing is get that house together. See, what we want is to run individually as individual organizations and do something internationally and leave everybody else behind. That's not gonna happen here. We will come together like civilized tribal people, Aboriginals, Moors Nation. We're gonna ratify a treaty among ourselves. We're gonna sign. We're gonna send our representatives to create a period parliament council and ratify our own constitution, create one national government, and then we're gonna do it under that one national government to be recognized. That's the way we're gonna do it. All for one, one for all. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. I have to go. Peace.
All right.
Last question.
Shem, hold on.
Hey.
Shem.
Yes.
You got Sheehan, real quick. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Sheehan. Last question.
Peace. I just wanted to know, does vessel and the treaties, something you said, Shem, triggered that question. Does vessel in the treaty, does that mean your body also? And another thing, the passport made so much, the way that you broke that down makes so much more sense now, because I'll be speaking with other Moors and they'll ask me, well, what do we need passports for? Because we're on our own land. And when I went to the bank one time and I was trying to exercise, I was trying to open up an account. He said they would take my national identification card as a secondary identification, but I still needed basically I still needed something basically from the United States. And so I just ended up doing it. But what he said was, yeah, this is you guys' land, but this is our building. And so that makes, when you clean that up, that makes so much more sense. And the fact that the passport protects us and brings us up under the protection that the two states or the two countries have by treaty. It brings you up under their protection. It's not necessarily within their jurisdiction, which is their buildings or erections. So I want to give thanks to you for clearing that up for me, because my own personal situation made that make sense. But my original question was, does vessel in the treaty mean your body as well? Because one could think in reading that oh, you're talking about some ship or you're talking about something in commerce.
Okay, let me explain this. Now, a ship is ran by steam or manpower or what you call what do you call it, the things that they put up in the wind blow? What do you call it, Abdullah, on the ship?
Sails.
Sails. Okay,
Yeah.
that sail, the steam or manpower navigates the vessel. Now, we dealing on land, horses. Horses rode on for what? Navigation. Now, we talk about bodies. In our bodies, we got divinity, carbon, the airs, the atoms. When the atoms activate throughout our pineal gland and send forth all the signals to move the body from one place to another place, that's navigation. You navigate the divinity in us, and that the bodies are vessels. They're carnal vessels, like a ship come out the earth. It's made by what? Wood. It's made by minerals on the earth. We come from the earth too. What navigates us? Carbon, air, fire. Come on now. Oxygen. We can't navigate or move anywhere. We can't even ride a horse. So see, this belongs to our culture being taken. We're not taught this. Anybody tell you, oh, we're not a vessel, okay, how you move your body? What's in your body? Okay, how you get up and get you cooking food every day? How you get in the bus and move, drive your car? How you moving your body? What is your body? A container. It's moving, it's navigating. Come on now. It's not only navigating, your body is making what? Ships and making vehicles, and ride a horse, and feed a horse, and nurse a horse, and plant crops, and water crops, and make calendars, and make clocks. That's a vessel. So when they say traveling papers and passports, and the sign is for the ship, meaning a sign for the ship, meaning the flag, but on the vessel, they also talk about your body. Passports and papers should be enough. So what, you will get molested from your government. They're telling you, you've been protected by your government. That's why you must have these papers and ID and sign. So what's the sign? The flag. The flag is the emeralds on your ID, on your passport. United States got passports with what? United States of America with an emerald on it. And a flag in the inside. Yes, it do. So all is being done right in front of our face every day. You understand?
Yes. And that's what my statement was more so, thank you for bringing me clarity on that concept, because that is something that we've had in discussion. And my question was just more so like, I thank you you answered that also. And our bodies are the vessel also, and the passport, when we go into the different jurisdictions, is basically the identification of, that's our flag, that's our political flag, basically in operation. So
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, I have to go. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Peace and
Thank
love.
you for
Yes.
30 minutes, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.
Peace.
All right. So before I continue, I want to make this. I made an announcement at the beginning of class that we had about 13, 14 people on. So I'm going to make the announcement again. All right. This class, there's going to be a change, not in the schedule. I guess all right, let me explain. I connected with Dougie Fresh's brother, Keishaka, his wife, Sage, and Hitman. Hitman he calls himself Hitman. He has a building in Brooklyn. I was on the phone for 5 hours on Friday. And so Sage let us know that Hitman is allowing him to have access to the building. So, well, we tried to do it on the weekend, but the weekends are booked up. All his weekends are booked up. So I said, what about Thursday? And then K Shaka said, well, y'all have, I think Sage said y'all have class on Wednesday. That's gonna be too much back to back. So yeah, you know, right? So you know what, we'll do it on a Wednesday, the day of, so now the first, so Shim and I will be going to New York every once a month. We'll be alternating between Brooklyn and Harlem. So we'll be on Wednesday, the second Wednesday in December 14th will be our first. That's a paid class. So there's only going, so this Zoom link is only going to be for the fourth Wednesday, starting in December, for the fourth Wednesday. The second Wednesday, you would have to pay for the class via Eventbrite. The flyer is done. K Shaka is setting up the Eventbrite. We're going to be in Brooklyn. Shim and I will be in Brooklyn on December 14th. Same time, 7 o'clock. We'll be in Harlem in January, Brooklyn in February. So we'll be alternating. The place in Brooklyn seats 75 people, and we'll be broadcasting live. And you can go to the Eventbrite. That information will be on the flyer. All right. I'll have the flyer sent to you once K Shockley sends it to me. All right. So the second Wednesday will be the paid class, will be $20. You go to the Eventbrite to make the payment. The fourth Friday, the fourth Wednesday will be on this Zoom link. All right. That's good news because that's expanding the class. That's expanding the class. We'll market throughout the country and outside the country. That expands the class. All right, so that's yes. On Monday, Shim, Terrence, and I were on a Zoom conference. I was 40 brothers on, and we will be working with them as well. All right, this is was a unity conference. So that's another point. Another announcement is I'll be working on a manual for this class. And I'll have that done. Once I get Moorish Masonry done, it'll be in your hand in December. Part 2, Moorish Masonry Part 2. I'm gonna get right on the manual. It'll be sold for $25 to $30, and 30% of the sales will go to the this class here, proceeds. So this is we're moving on up. And Elkanan, I want you to explain to the class, you know, what we're doing with your connecting with you.
All right. So basically what's going on, Shem also mentioned that he placed a format of which we will set up government. I'll be working with him on that government set, on that extent, and the reason why is because there are probably about several million individuals in the Masonic organization that has been operating on Moorish law, dealing with Moorish government, but it's been in the use of a fraternal structure, or it's been in use as a fraternity. So my thing is, I am going to get in contact, or I'm teaching these individuals to recognize that this structure that they have been using, or that we in the organization have been using, is Moorish structure. It is actually Moorish law, Moorish structure. So I'm going to be introducing those here in this land about Moorish government and Moorish law, Moorish structure. And also, I'll be also bringing on board or connecting, I'm connecting with other part of that's outside of this United States or outside of this landmass. So I'm bringing a lot of not just people, but Moors who have been classified as Argentinian, Mexican, Filipino, bringing them to the table to let them know what's going on and understand what Moorish government is and what we've been doing already. All we have to do, instead of playing with it, we just start living it, because we're practicing in a lot of different forms. We haven't gotten into the astrology and the astronomy and the mathematics and the different things like that. Even with the levels of different treaties, we have treaties in our organization, but we don't have the treaty. So we understand the treaties and what they do and things of that nature. All we have to do is turn the light switch on. We're doing everything the correct way, but it's doing in the dark. So all I'm doing right now is teaming up with Abdullah to turn over this body, this group worldwide, and bringing them to the forum. So that's the second part of it. So the structure that Shem is something that I've passionately been involved with, the structure of how to set up this Moorish government. I'll be working with him on that, and then also bringing people not just in the United States, but throughout the United States who are Moors, but who just haven't recognized themselves as Moors.
Is there anybody any questions?
I did have something, Abdullah.
Yes.
I just wanted to attach onto your when you talked about the 30% towards the class. So that 30% would go to the website. It would go to keeping
Thank you, Terrence.
It'll go to keeping the Zoom platform up and running, because that's on a yearly installment. So the plans with the website, in fact, we had this idea a while ago that we were actually implementing when we were doing when we did the United Republica of Morocco website. And one thing, because I was actually one who was actually building that one out as well. And some of the ideas that we had on there was to have like a map of, different Moorish liaisons, and like whether it's the West Coast, the East Side, or wherever they may be, you'll be able to see them and find them on the map and be able to get in contact with them, right? So you'll be able to click that on the map, get the phone number, office, or whatever. So I want to be able to implement that on the website when we get that up and running, as well as one of the ideas that we also had was the Moorish marketplace, where we can actually market, if someone had like a small business, whether you sell fezzes or perfumes or whatever the case may be, we would have that also on that website, because we are coming together as a community. So so that will also go to that as well. So we're just we're just building, so but first things first. So I just wanted to add that on to what Abdullah was saying.
All right, any questions? Elkanan, you have any questions? Michael? You got anything to add, Michael? Michael still on?
I see him on here, but
Peace, peace.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm just listening. Everything is good over here.
All right.
Right.
Any questions, anyone? Are we really going to be expanding?
Yeah, I had a question. Okay, now, Article 15 of the Act of Right of Protection of Morocco.
Mhm.
Now you can proclaim, you can state your national, you can inform those signed nations of your nationality. That's what the Sultan said. It said you don't need no government to do that. Now what you're saying is the new thing in which you have to have a government to claim your nationality. That goes against what the Sultan said in Article 15. Now, when I did it before the State Department, it came back that I'm a foreign national now, a Moorish Moroccan foreign national. Okay, I had an FBI agent run my passport through, and it stated I'm a foreign national, Moorish Moroccan foreign national. So what you're saying is you got to have a government first to get recognized by the State Department. Remember, the State Department protects the United Nations. Remember, the U.S. is the security for all the United Nations. So when you go through the security, they're going to inform the United Nations that you are a foreign national. That's what Hoffman Phillips said. All you got to do is show your Moroccan allegiance and show treaties that protect you, and they will recognize you as a Moor. What you're saying is no. Go to the United Nations and let them recognize you as a Moor. Then come back.
I know I never said that. Hold on, I never said that. I never said that. I never said
well,
that.
I mean, you didn't say that, but that's what it's coming across.
Hold on, brother.
Go ahead. Just
I
question.
got the floor now, because once you say I said something that I didn't, then I have the floor.
Because
You made a claim.
Go ahead.
You made a claim that I said something that I never did.
Because I'm a foreign national with the State Department. So go ahead.
Brother, please, brother.
Go ahead.
You made a claim that I said something that I never did. So let me clear it up. All right. I never said we go to United Nations to get recognized. What I said was Elkanan, when Elkanan asked the question, is the Moorish government recognized? I said yes. And I explained why the Moorish government is recognized. And I went to the 1952 case between France and the United States and explained that the first primary treaty that was used was those treaties, was the Moorish bilateral treaties. So the recognition is Moroccan Empire is recognized. All right. Secondly, the Emperor Morocco did not delegate in the treaty. Please hear me out. This is for everybody. It's not just for S. Murray Bay. This is not for S. Murray Bay, because I want you to be able to challenge people. I want you to be able to just challenge with intellect when you hear statements like that. Whatever S. Murray Bay said, he has to show me in the Moorish Treaty. Whatever he says, not no United States, not your United States statute, not your United States laws. S. Murray Bay must show me that the Emperor Morocco delegated that, meaning surrendered the sovereignty. The Emperor Morocco surrendered Moorish sovereignty to the United States, authorizing through Moorish treaty the United States to legislate laws, to legislate laws to govern a Moorish nationality process. Show me in a treaty, a Moorish treaty with the United States. Please, y'all, we have to rise to this. We have to rise to this. The only way that the United States can do what S. Murray said it has to be delegated to United States in a Moorish treaty, which means that Morocco will be surrendering Moorish sovereignty. Morocco would have to surrender Moorish sovereignty. Hear me out, y'all. How did French subjects become citizens of Morocco in 1803? The Article 3 of that Louisiana Purchase Treaty. So whatever S. Murray Bay says, he has to show y'all. Command S. Murray Bay to show y'all in a Moorish treaty whereby the Emperor Morocco surrendered Moorish sovereignty to the United States, because that power, hear me out, China does not have any power to make anyone a French citizen. China does not have any power. China does not have any power to do any French nationalization. China cannot make any laws regulating French nationalization, French citizenship. So Asbury Bay's talking about United States has authority to regulate Moorish citizenship. We're in the treaty whereby we surrendered that sovereignty. We talk about Moorish citizenship. Only Morocco can do that. Only Morocco can legislate. Moorish government can legislate in the Moorish parliament, can legislate laws, can legislate a Moorish passport. The United States cannot legislate a Moorish passport. Only the United States cannot legislate Moorish citizenship, laws that govern Moorish citizenship, laws that govern Moorish naturalization, how foreigners become citizens of Morocco. United States does not have. We got to understand sovereignty. That's Moorish sovereignty.
No, no, I didn't mean.
No, I did not. I did not. That's very bad. I did not misunderstand you. I did not misunderstand you. I did not misunderstand you. I'll stand on that, brother. I did not misunderstand you, brother. That's Mary Berry. That's Mary Berry. No, you're not going to say misunderstand. You're not going to do that. You're not. That's Mary Berry. You're not going to tell me that I misunderstood you.
You are mis-explaining Article 15 of the Treaty of Madrid. Explain Article 15.
I did not misunderstand you. I'm talking more sovereignty. I did not misunderstand you. I'm talking the principles of sovereignty. So I did not misunderstand you. I did not.
Hold on. Peace. Abdul, if I just may interject, S. Murray Bay, this is me, Mike, Consul Mike. You're misinterpreting Article 15 because it's incorrect. Article 15 instructions was saying naturalization. Now I'm gonna ask you a question before you even respond to me. It says that a Moor must naturalize. This is why what Abdul is saying, what Abdul is correct with what he's saying. And then I'm also going to get to you because you referenced Hoffman, the gentleman who I know you're repeating what you've heard in the 59th Congress. That's what you're reiterating. That's what you're saying. But he also said Moors became United States. Don't call. Matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick. He said Moors.
No, you don't have to. You don't naturalize. Naturalization is for the United States. You are a national.
Hold on. Right. Hold on.
You're taking my words and you don't understand what I'm saying.
Abdullah.
I'm listed as a foreign national. I'm listed as a Moorish
brother. Let me speak.
With the State Department. As Hoffman Phillips said what I did. Using Article 15. You talking about this new thing. You're talking about the new thing.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
talking. Are you talking to me or are you talking to Abdullah?
Talking to you, because you misinterpreted my words also.
No, but if you quote an article,
And I
it said
broke down.
it says that
I used the article, and I got Moorish, Moroccan, foreign national with the State Department.
I got
Can you prove that?
But you took Murray. Can I talk? Murray, can I talk?
Go
You're
ahead.
talking over me.
You're misusing my word. I'm just gonna correct you when you
No, brother. You use Article 15 as your point of reference.
That's right.
And
You're
I'm
going
showing
against
you.
the Sultan. Go ahead.
No. Okay, you use Article 15 as a point of reference, and I'm just trying to show you Article 15 is incorrect because of more.
How you
And I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on.
That's the
hold on.
Sultan, man. What you talking about? You going with the new Morocco stuff, with the new Morocco,
No,
1956. You going with the new? We gotta have a government. Come on, man.
Order. Can we hear one at a time, please?
Yeah. Terrence, can you ask the brother? Can you ask the brother to let me speak? Terrence, can you ask the brother to let me speak?
Go ahead, speak.
And when I speak, can you wait till I finish?
Make your point.
My point is this: you use Article 15 as your reference point to say that to justify or validate what you did. But I'm showing you the text in Article 15 is wrong. It used naturalize. Naturalize is incorrect because just for this one basis alone. In order to naturalize, which the Moors never did, the Moors here in quote unquote North America have never been naturalized. You know, the naturalization process, it deals with a formal renunciation. No Moor has ever formally renunciated their Moroccan citizenship to become a United States citizen.
Naturalized in another country, not in Morocco. It said naturalized in another nation, not Morocco. You don't have to naturalize with Morocco. You naturalize with another nation. You don't nationalize. You don't nationalize with Morocco. You're a national.
Right.
That's why I say you're misinterpreting my word.
Right. No. But listen. But naturalize. Right. Naturalize still entails to formally renunciate your citizenship to the nation in which you belong to.
And that's what he said. If you do that in another nation, you can come back to Morocco by claiming pledging allegiance to Morocco and show treaty protection that protects you as a Moorish Moroccan. That's what Article 15 says. You saying naturalize, you don't have to naturalize to be no more. Period. You trying to say people got to naturalize to be a Moor with the Moorish government?
No, I didn't say that.
That's what I didn't. You saying you got to naturalize with a Moorish government? You don't have to naturalize with no Moorish government.
No. I know that. I didn't say that, but I didn't say S.
He didn't say that.
You getting crazy irate, man. Calm down. We talking as men. Calm down. Go ahead. You got too much energy. Addressing too many misconceptions.
Well, I'm a foreign national, Moorish Moroccan foreign national.
Yeah, but I got you. Now I got you also. But the treaty stipulates the treaty. And the text in that, and the name, what's the name of that treaty? The treaty you're representing under Article 15 is called the Treaty of Madrid Act to protect Morocco. They're mainly referring to the Moors losing. That's the Hoffman Philip dude. His quote was saying this: how Moors lost their status really had more so to do with the fact of a loss of a Moorish consul than anything else, because Moors never ever been naturalized in the United States. This is Hoffman. He's a representative for the United States within the Secretary of State Department. He was making a statement alluding to the status of the current Moors of that day, basically saying that they only lost because they came up. In fact, his words was they only lost their Moorish status, by becoming under the protection, aka the United States, or through a lack of a Moorish consul. That's what he was referring to.
Which is Moorish government. Moorish consul implies Moorish government structure. That's Moorish government structure.
That's why I was just trying to say S.
No,
analyze. I know what you're telling.
Government. That's Moorish government.
No, Abdul, I'm talking to S directly. I was just saying to S. That's what I was just addressing what you're.
I'm supporting you. You that you do need a Moorish government because Moorish consul implies Moorish government structure.
Right now, as it pertains, because remember, this is Hoffman Philip. He's a United States official. As it pertains to him and his statement, S. Murray, he was talking about naturalization. That's a fraud. Because in order for a Moor to lose, because this is why if you look at the text of what he was saying, although he was saying, because in spite of unless a naturalization process took place in another nation, what did he say? You're basically ipso jure Moorish subjects. Even you and me right now, we're in the status of Moorish subjects at the same time under the protection, quote unquote, under the United States. Because we never naturalized it in no formal renunciation. That's what that entails. That's why every foreigner that comes into this nation, whether it be Chinese national, Japanese national, German national, when they come in here, they have to pledge their allegiance to the United States. And the same thing, that's a uniform process in every nation in order to renounce a citizenship of your prior nation. Show me where any Moor has ever done that. Now that would go, but now listen.
Never.
Now, never did, right? Never. Now that would also tie in, Brother S. That would also tie in with the Dred Scott case, which was never overturned by act of Congress. No person of the African race can become a United States citizen. That's why Dred Scott lost his case in 1857. He was trying to become a United States citizen. And the justice's ruling on that was you can't become a United States citizen. Why? One, there's no treaty that says you could do that. One, Professor Abdullah. Number two, you can't do that when you're already at home. You the sovereign in this land. We're in your territory. That was the analysis and decision based on that case. So that I would say. So I understand what you're saying. You know what you're saying in terms of what the United States, but the United States do things that they ain't supposed to do. I'm gonna give you a prime example. And this is I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it now since we on this topic. Just like the 1952 case, the United States bobs and weaves different things that basically favor them. For example, they stood on the Sultan under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which granted the most favorable nation status, right? They granted on that and they harped on that and over again in the 1952 case and almost won off that basis because the actual Sultan, as you said, actual Sultan did give them that much sovereignty. However, they wanted to be British subjects to get the tax immunity that was granted to them under Article 4 of the 1856 treaty. Now, in that case, the 1856 treaty superseded the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. But now under the Department of State, as of January 1st, 2020, under the United States Department of State, state government website, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is the treaty of the United States with Morocco that they honor. The 1856 treaty ain't on there. Why not? Why not? If that treaty superseded the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in the 1952 case, why isn't that 1856 treaty on there? Because the United States is on some BS, doing what they want. They do as they will. This is why they go against their mother. This is why they fought with their mother numerous times. So what I'm saying, what you hear my point is this, brother. What you hear from the United States, this is what they doing in purport and domestically. On an international level, it's a different ballgame.
On the international level,
I digress.
Right, but on the international level, France and the United States made a deal in 1956. Those are European nations. That's why I was saying the OAS with the Bustamante codes deal with territory, nationality, and territory. And that's big over here in the Americas. That's why Jamaica is about to throw Great Britain out of because of the OAS and the Bustamante codes. We should be at the OAS instead of, the United Nations is cool, but they're going to play that game with the Europeans. They ain't going to give us nothing. I don't believe they threw Dr. York under the bus. They'll do the same with us. So the OAS, I believe, is more powerful in the Americas than the United Nations because of the Bustamante codes. Okay, Bustamante codes 1928, like I said, deals with nationality and territory connected with your nationality. What you're talking is European with the domicile and all of that. European domicile, because you've been here for a long, you got to be on the land. That's European stuff, but we're talking about the Bustamante codes and stuff like that. But also getting back to the passport. Now you expatriate through your passport. That's how you expatriate through your passport application. That's what I did to Morocco, and it was approved. Okay, I'm a Moorish.
Right. I don't disagree. Now, brother, you may very well. I remember you mentioned this before last month. You probably very well, albeit what Abdullah was saying, he was saying, show me the text in the language of the treaty. Because if you read, listen, hear me out. If you read the actual treaty under Article 4, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, it says that this is what it says in the text verbatim. It says that each nation is supposed to show their flag. So you think each nation was it for each nation? The point Abdul was trying to make was it United States' responsibility to draw the passport up for Morocco and vice versa? That's what Abdullah was trying to say. He was saying that the passport would have to be
They are the protectors of Morocco. They are the protectors of Morocco. You got to go through them to go to Morocco. If you don't believe, they wouldn't be. Listen, because of the Monroe Doctrine, can't no foreign nation do. Go ahead.
Right,
go ahead.
But when you say protector,
we got to wrap it up.
Right, but protector, I don't think protector is the right thing. We have a bilateral. It's a bilateral treaty.
Hold on, we got to wrap this up. Moorish treaty enforcement through diplomatic channels. The United States Central Authority. We'll see y'all Sunday. Moroccan Post on Crumb TV. Moorish treaty enforcement through diplomatic channels. The United States Central Authority. Shem Malachi Bey will be in the house on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had technical difficulties last week. All right, so I just wanted to make that announcement. All right, because we got 30 seconds. All right, so we'll be back on this channel on this Zoom on the 4th Wednesday. I think we're gonna have the 4th Wednesday, and we'll be back. So we'll see y'all in 2 weeks on this channel, on this Zoom, the 4th Wednesday, and then we'll see y'all on Sunday, live and direct, Moroccan Post on Crumb TV, Moorish treaty enforcement through diplomatic channels, the United States Central Authority. I thank y'all for hanging out with us. Peace, everyone.
Yep, that'll be the 26th.
Yes. Peace and love, everyone.
But the 26th is a Wednesday. That's going to be the 4th Wednesday. So it's going to be
So we'll see y'all back on this Zoom channel on the 23rd, 26th. All right. Peace, everyone.
All right.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace now.
Peace. Peace.
Peace. That was great subject matter today.